Greetings everyone, welcome to the tutorial video for the Reincarnation system. I'm Umberrays and I'm here to help you. Now, the Reincarnation system is fairly new on JP and will probably be updated and improved over the course of time, so some of the information in this video may change. If there are any massive changes, I will try and update this by making essentially a new version, cover any changes and potential new information that we have discovered once more data is achieved. However, please note that for the sake of this video, this is a new system to the game, and while we have on the JP side worked a fair bit over the last little while to understand a lot about the system, there are some things that are not 100% confirmed and seem to be based mostly on RNG. So before we get too far into this video, please take these things of note, and if I make any mistakes, well, apologies. But hopefully I will be making any notes in the description of this video if there are any mistakes, but I feel like I have a pretty good comprehension, so let's start. So the Reincarnation system is a brand new system to improve characters. Now, characters themselves are going to be added in batches. At the time, JP has only gotten its first batch, and I would assume that Global will follow very much in the same pace and frequency that JP is getting. Currently, the first batch was noted beforehand of the update actually arriving in-game, and if we go through and actually find where the information is, we will find the list of characters. Now, the actual batching of these characters is, as I should say, been said to be more quicker than Master Ability 2s have been arriving. However, with that being said, it still at this point is unknown 100% whether or not Gumi will be able to follow through on it. But given that they've been particularly pretty good about certain things going as planned, we can probably see that this will be happening. Sorry, it took me a second to find where it was scrolling through this. As you can see, here's the first batch on JP, including collaboration characters for Final Fantasy VII, the original plus Sephiroth, Amneris, and a bunch of War of the Visions characters from the UR, SSR, and SR rarity. Now, what the second batch at the time of recording, we do not know, but will probably be revealed and be coming about the same time as Yuffie, but it does sound like they do want to do batches faster. Now, taking a look at the Reincarnation system, what exactly can you look forward to? Well, the Reincarnation system is essentially a big potential increase to stats. 2,400 HP is a considerable amount of HP for a lot of characters, but is even more impactful for tanks. Now, as to what a character can expect to benefit from this system, for stats will depend on the type of character. As you can see, MR and URs also seem to have different numbers for various stats depending on their classes, what they primarily will focus on. Nasha here is sporting only 90 attack and 3,300 HP, whereas Barrett was 2,400, and I do believe, getting back here for a sec, is 144 attack. So max stats are in here on the right hand side, and on the left hand side we will cover more about what this means a little bit later. But one of the primary benefits is stat increases. The stat increases are a fair bit, and when combined with TMR runes will boost a character. This is expected to be a major benefit early on towards PvP, but not terribly impactful in PvE, as usually with Gumi games, a lot of the time because of feedback, they are very slow to roll out much more difficult PvE content to let free-to-players and more casual spenders catch up first before implementing the system. The other benefit that you will see here in the bottom left-hand corner is some improvements to both stats and abilities. Each unit can expect the benefit of having 2 extra status slash resistance bonuses. For instance, Nasha benefits from a 10% HP boost, speed boost, I misspoke, as well as improving one of her abilities. Oh, Barrett, my bad. We were also looking at Nasha a second ago. So here's Nasha. She is experiencing a 15% and a 15 critical evasion, as well as one of her boosted abilities to her supports. Now, once you have entered into the reincarnation system, you will be able to go into the game and find which abilities have been improved. If we are to go over, for example, into Barrett for one more time, we can see that his steel skin description has changed to include the new benefits to his character from getting into reincarnation. Now, once a character enters reincarnation, these abilities are permanently unlocked, as well as bonuses. The stats will change as you go from EX level 1 to EX level 20, 20 being the max, taking a character up to now level 140. But if you reincarnate, for instance, if we were to use Barrett here and reincarnate, we will go back down in terms of stats. Green is permanent, where yellow is temporary. So most of this yellow would be lost if we were to reincarnate. However, some of the yellow stats will be converted into green. So for example, if we were to go through this and reincarnate using 20 of our orbs, you can now see yellow stars have changed to green. These are the stats that will be permanently increased. However, we will now lose a lot of others. Then we will go through the leveling system. As you can see, a character's level is variable from now on. After the reincarnation system, level 121 is the lowest your character can be, and level 140 is the highest. The goal is to go through the reincarnation system multiple times with a character improving stats and trying to make the character better. It is a long-term project for most players. However, whales do have the financial ability to spend to get resources to level characters faster, making a much larger difference in PvE and offering Gumi a new source of funding. Now, these are the leveling system, as you can see here. What we need is approximately 16,000 job points to be able to complete up to level 20, but our goal is to get the 3 stars to appear in certain categories. Now, if we were not reincarnating again, it is generally considered better to leave a character at 140 so that they can experience the temporary stats as an increase. But not only that, as you can see here, the resistances and our agility boost that we were normally experiencing at level 140 has disappeared, and we have gone back down to a lower amount. Reincarnating will affect these abilities as well as the stats, so do plan accordingly depending on what content you want to do and how you want your character to perform in there. So today, we'll take a little bit of a look at some systems to do with resources and as well as making a character into the reincarnation system for the first time. Now, for what you need for a character to get into the reincarnation system, let's take a look at Medina. Now, my Medina is currently at level 105, and as you can see here, her overall process through the job board has not been perfect. Currently, we have been able to get up to exactly level 120, saving a few job points for later. So now, as you can see, at this point, we do not have the ability to take her into reincarnation. We will now infuse her with a bunch of rainbow orbs so that we can get up. Now, what is key notable here that I want to point out is the fact that with Medina now, you do not need to have everything on her board unlocked, leveled, or anything. all you need to do is to be able to get up to level 120. The job level 25 ability is not required. Now, you can see the list of resources for a UR character right here. And for the purpose of this video, we will be taking regular mod up into the Reincarnation, and you can see what kind of resources. Now, as you descend, the materials required will basically match the type of character that you are getting. But as you can see, if we go back to Medina for a brief instance, we will see that there are more general resources required to be able to do a UR. So globalers, if you are planning on still going hard on the Reincarnation system or are interested in the Reincarnation system, saving up resources is a good way to go now. Now, one thing that has been a primary concern is character orbs. Now, character orbs are required both in terms of getting into the Reincarnation system. UR is requiring 120, and not only that, but reincarnating does require 20 orbs per go. Thankfully, however, Gumi has added a source of alternate orbs that is used across all characters, be they collaboration, limited, or just normal. So taking a look here, you can see that they are separated into rarity across the board: UR, MR or SSR, SR, and R. Now for UR, you can see that we are able to convert both MR rarity characters as well as lower rarity characters at a much higher rate than UR to UR. For instance, if we go down to Engelbert, we can see that Engelbert, a UR character, we can exchange 5 to 1, whereas a MR character, we can translate these orbs into a UR general run at a 20 to 1 ratio. As the character's rarity goes lower, they will get higher in terms of the exchange rate. Now, free characters are not included in this, and basically have been flat out said that it will not be that way. The other thing that is important to be able to use this system is the character must be at level 120. Currently, I do have a bunch of different characters in the game. For instance, Shell. Now, my Shell is only level 99, so if we were to go in here and try to exchange maybe a bunch of excess Shell ones that I have, you can see that it is not available. If I was to get Shell to level 120, she would become immediately available in the system. So taking, for example, our most recent character, Medina, is now available in the system for us to use. So if we were to scroll through here, we would eventually be able to find her. Is she? Here she is. So you can see that we have about 1,385 Medina orbs, being able to convert them into 277. There is no daily cap on this system, so please note this. And once again, I would like to repeat, just for people who are a little bit concerned, you can use these for any collaboration character. So please, it is a good strategy early on for globalers, especially now, to start going into certain shops in the MOG shop and exchange on a daily basis for certain characters that you already have maxed. Ziza, just keep in mind that these characters that you are going to max, you do require to get them to level 120 to be able to convert. Now, given this system, a lot that we've talking about the system, let's take a quick break. Whew. And now we will continue. Now, we've covered basically the way for the character orb, but there are two other materials to talk about. So going back to Medina's page, we can see one of the materials that we need are called UR horns. Now, UR horns currently are available only through a few sources and mostly through paid purchases. So for instance, if we are to go into here, we can see that the current daily purchase, if you make it up to day 6, will include a single UR horn, which is needed to get a UR rarity character into the Reincarnation system. Since JP is experiencing its 3rd anniversary, there's also one for getting Medina into level 120, but the primary source of horns currently is through monetary purchases, through large Lapis Awakening packs like this one, or from a few other packs in the shops. We are able to currently purchase horns. Now, as for free-to-players are also able to get a few extra ones at about 3,000 free lapis for these current materials, and these bundles may change by the time this system arrives on global. The other source that we need for things to awaken are scrolls, and scrolls can once again be purchased from shops, logins, or other sources. Horns can also theoretically be gotten from logins. However, it seems to be very scant so far about how much we are actually getting, so I do not want to mention it too much. But here you can see the cost of scrolls for UR characters, basically 500 lapis for 100 of these rainbow orbs, and 20 of these, which is 1 reincarnation. Here for a lower SSR character, we are getting 40 of these, which is 2 reincarnations, and from there it just gets higher and higher for less lapis. So lower rarity characters, if you are having trouble with selection quests, this may be a easier way to get through them in the future. So that covers basically all the materials. Now let's head back and take a peek at getting a character. So Mont here, currently we have fully awakened. We have him ready to go. He is all of his abilities awakened, and he is primarily a pretty good character. So let's bring him into. Now, as you can see here, we have 60 ores ready to go. We have 1 horn, more than 10 of these, and 5 of these, so we are ready. Now, we are capable of choosing if we want to use some of these, or all. So you can basically choose how many of each you would like to use, and you should generally prioritize these general orbs for collaboration and limited time characters such as Warrior of the Vision or Warrior of the Crystal characters. So we're going to just use 60 of these because we have plenty for Mont. And now we are awakened. You can see our base level now becomes level 121. And we have access to these new skills. This will unlock a new option here in the top left hand of the 3. Here you can see our Mont's new abilities that are already currently permanently active at this level. But let's go through. Now, these stars can appear anywhere from basically right from the get-go to all the way to EX level 20. So it is basically RNG, and where the stats land are RNG. So let's take Mont through the actual process of leveling and see what he ends up with. As you can see, we have already currently gotten 1 star into the attack category. Also, as you can see, the interface is a little slow, and this has been like this essentially in other systems and usually is improved after a little bit of time to allow for mostly just a sliding style effect. However, it should be noted that sliding style is not necessarily what you want, as you may get all 3 stars early on and just be able to reincarnate early. So as we are going up this process, you can see his bottom left hand ability and resistances getting better, and not only that, but his stats going up increased in yellow. So a percentage of this when we reincarnate will turn green and become permanent, so that future reincarnations sees higher and higher stats overall. Now currently you can see we are at level 15, Mont is at level 135, so if a character is up to level 140, while it is indicated that they have enter the reincarnation system, it doesn't necessarily show how many times a character has been reincarnated. So please keep that in mind when going up against another character. As for where the stars land, it is also RNG. However, most people have collaborated that it seems to favor certain stats for certain types of characters. HP in a lot of examples I have seen has gotten much more stars than some of the other ones. However, attack has appeared a fair number of times for me on Barret, and as you can see, dexterity is also a primary stat that you would usually like on a tank. But these are the current extra bonus stats that we have for our Mont at level 140. So, if we are to go over here and take a peek at some of the characters we have, here you can see a Nasha that has been increased not only by this, but also by TMR runes. You can see how quickly her stats end up starting to become considerably higher, and that her overall performance is considerably better. The reincarnation system does offer an overall nice benefit to characters. However, for most players, you will have to choose which characters you want. Some characters will be better than others, so please keep an eye out for my future video about which in each batch will be the ones that I recommend people consider the strongest for good reincarnation. Also, if we were to take just a quick look over to a party with Barret, because we have dropped his level from 140 to 121 now, his overall stats and performance have decreased. So you should always be careful about how much resources you have before you reincarnate and think if this is where you want to spend your resources or not. However, because we reincarnated Barret the second time, more than likely all of his stats will be generally improved, especially in the parts where attack is. Some of these other categories may in fact be a little bit less, but for my previous rolls, it does seem like a overall benefit. Certain areas with stars may end up seeing better overall performance and better all increases. As we have just gotten yet another star into HP. So we'll take this a little bit far just to show some stat growth on a UR type character. But you really need to be careful about which characters you bring into the reincarnation system. Of course, favorites are always a good opportunity for people to enjoy the game further, but I do think that some people will really want overall higher performance, especially if you are more akin to PvP. PvP is where I think this will make the biggest impact. And we'll do a couple more levels and just call it a vid because I think you are getting the idea. As you can see, our fifth star into HP. You can see that currently we are getting a bonus of 20 attack already at EX level 120. We have 244, and we have a particularly nice number of stars building towards HP, which, since Barret is kind of a defensive range character, is overall a nice benefit, not to mention a good amount of dexterity. So to provide a summary, reincarnation units will be added in batches, so if a character has not been added to a batch currently, you will not be able to reincarnate the character. However, batches do seem to be have been promised to come at a regular / faster level than MA2s were, but we need to see how true that ends up being. As for materials, horns as well as scrolls are considered to be important, but in this video we have showed you basically all of the resources that you will need and in certain amounts. As for the unit themselves, you do not need to have their entire job level board completely maxed out and unlocked. So long as a character is at level 120, they have the ability to reincarnate or go into the reincarnation system. As for the benefits that you will experience, extra stats, 2 overall stat / resistance boosts, and 1 ability or potential support skill improved. Anything from a basic level early on ability such as Barrett's Steel Skin all the way up to something like Amneris's Job level 25, her last ability to be unlocked. As for sources of key material, expect them to be primarily obtained through monetary purchases, as this is meant to be an income revenue source for Gumi heading into the 3rd year, but also shops and logins, and we will need to see about how much they appear more in the future. So this hopefully has been a comprehensive and thorough tutorial. If I did miss anything, apologies again, I am only human. But I want to thank you so much for watching, supporting the channel, and hope to see you again next time.